Hello, listener, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Keeping Up Appearances podcast, full of opinion, debate, and football trivia with a hint of nostalgia. I'm Callum Murray, and here with me is
Sean O'Hara,
Bob Gall, and Michael Tosh.
They say not to judge a book by its cover, but we might judge a player by their appearance. Let's get into it.
what top have you got on there, Bob? Is that your Bocha one?
Bocha, yeah.
Yeah.
To apologise for Tosh for slagging off Maradona the other day.
Yeah. Callum's dream visit, that innit? Dream match.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be great, that, yeah. That'd be great. I was going to wear my Hibs top for you as well today, Sean, but...
Is that not Hibs hat?
Atleti hat.
Does it always rain in that room or something? Oh, that is boss, that. I got that for Drew for Christmas one year.
I've got another good one here, just give me a minute.
Wish I kept it myself, really.
I bought a yellow one the other week. As well, put this in the preamble show.
Yeah, the audio's great as well, Tosh, when you're leaning away from your mic.
At least you notice the difference between the mic, though. That's all that matters.
Yeah, true.
Nice.
Oh, that is nice, that one.
Where'd you get that from?
I had a white, one of them snidey Chinese ones. No, they do get a dead sheet.
Right,
Bit racist.
Yeah, I was very bold.
Yeah, you've been cancelled unlucky.
It's a Chinese. It's a website from China, and they sell fakes. I don't think they can do me there.
We thought you were talking about a fella. Nah, the Chinese one.
Taking over Tosh's book club, Tosh's...
Hit club.
Yeah.
On that note, though, did you see Lee Ty's been investigated, isn't he? Like match fixing and stuff and bribes.
That is racist. He just mentioned snide Chinese, and you say Lee Ty getting it.
He mentioned Chinese people. He's
edit that out, John.
No, I'm keeping it in. I want Callum done, and then we can get other people in.
He's been investigated for match fixing and bribing his way to. He's the head coach of China at the moment. I think like bribing his way to get that job, like the investigation. Bad.
Yeah, I was really hoping Lee Ty was going to be our next manager as well.
He might have been. You never know if his bribes work.
Yeah, I suppose.
Would they have brought Li Wei-Feng with him as well? Like he did as well?
We all hope so. And the return of Chang or Changi.
Is there any?
That is racist. That's Thai.
Is there any instance that we've gone downhill since Changi's gone? There's got to be something in there.
And Mr. Testicles.
It's all Changi. Better than Beto. And the Corey.
Giving it the big now Cam's not here.
Oh, just a quick one, Cal.
Muted by Bob. Yeah.
It was noted last week that you, in your descriptions and stuff, you used the word good about 50 million times. You went,
did I?
Yeah, you went, that was a good game. Hopefully we'll have a bit more good content. Yeah. So maybe mix up your vocab a bit.
Well, it's good, isn't it? Don't say bad.
It isn't, though. That's the problem.
Yeah,
the podcast is good.
Considering you've written a book, you should know more words than good.
I just don't want to, hyperbole, Bob.
Did every time you wrote your book and you put good, did you highlight it and right click it and pick one of them other words?
yeah. Amazing.
Go.
Thanks. I'll just be dead self-conscious now. Don't worry about it.
You put him off his game, Sean. What are you doing?
We've slagged your hats off for weeks, and you're still wearing them.
Yeah, I'm a content creator here, lads. I need to be on the ball with stuff like this.
I don't want to know all the bad things I'm doing.
It's Carney, what's he going to do? Ready! Oh, yes!
So, welcome back to this week's episode of Keeping Up Appearances. We have some great content lined up for you today. We have Saturday. Sorry, you ruined me there, Sean, by laughing. Sorry.
I've just seen Callum having to cross out good 72 times.
Nah, keep going, Cal. It's good.
My script went. Any given Saturday.
Also, the review of the game as well.
Sean, you're muted.
Yeah, no, I didn't. I thought you were doing your intro then. Sorry, I didn't realise you were asking us.
You didn't say good at any point, Sean. That's how you know.
You should have known, yeah. Reverted to type. So, welcome back to this week's episode of Keeping Up Appearances. Thanks for joining us. We are back with the usual squad of four. No guests today, although it was great last week with Cam. So, thanks again to Cam for joining us if he is listening. We will start with our usual quiz of any given Saturday, which I'm sure Sean has prepared. And then we'll move on to Maroon 5 with a review of the weekend's big game. And then we'll go on to our headline act of Keeping Up Appearances. Sean, take it away.
It's good, that, Cal.
Just
Okay.
tell us who Sunderland and Wigan are playing this week, Sean.
Right, so let's kick on then with this week's game of any given Saturday. I've got two games lined up today, but we may only do one based on how long it takes, but it might fly. So, game week is the 4th of December, 1999. And our first game, maybe only game, is, unfortunately, lads, it's Liverpool 4, Sheffield 1. Go.
The Sheffield Wednesday scorer also play for Bradford.
Not that I know of.
You thinking of Benito?
Yeah, I
What a
just
player.
really want to mention Benito Carboni, so just say that anyway.
Yeah, well done, Bob. I like that one as well. Was one of the Liverpool players striker?
No.
So
Ooh.
he's not an ugly boy.
No, he's not an ugly boy. Not back then, he went.
Were any of the Liverpool goal scorers local lads?
Yes, they were.
Is he managing in Saudi Arabia?
One of them is, yeah.
Is it Steven Gerrard?
I'd forgotten what year you were talking about, actually. So
Yes, one of them was Steven Gerrard.
Is that his debut?
I don't know.
He scored. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure his first goal. It might have been his first goal. That might have been against Sheffield Wednesday, the one he sort of runs through. But find out if it was his first goal. Sure, the listeners will want to know.
Did one of the Liverpool goal scorers have long hair?
No.
I was going to ask if you could have him on a barbecue then.
yeah, he's certainly not an ugly boy anyway, is he? So
Sorry, Tosh. That was his first goal. That's some knowledge, that. Yeah. Fair play to you.
Disappointing knowledge, that, really.
You see that goal? It's a good goal. He sort of runs through, like he sort of walks through, like he does quite a lot. But
Still batters DJs though.
allegedly, wasn't he found acquitted of all the things? Come on then, right? Liverpool's one of the goal scorers. I can't remember any Liverpool players. So no strikers.
No strikers.
One of them Finnish.
No, he's only 28.
It's a Sammy
Quality.
Hippier.
Yeah, it is. One of them is Sammy Hippier, yeah.
It's a good shout, that Bob.
Is the other one Stefan Honcho?
No. So, sorry, there's 3 more goal scorers. 2 for Liverpool, 1 for Sheffield.
So, Hippier score 1 or 2?
1.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Yeah, I've got the other one.
Are either of the other scorers for Liverpool English?
Both.
Both English. Does one of them on a league of their own?
No.
Did the chef Wed player come from Italy?
No.
That's the only Sheffield player other than Benito I could think of.
We're going to be struggling when we get to that one. That's screaming blissful ignorance on the Liverpool ones.
Was one of them Czech? One of the Liverpool players Czech?
No,
I was going to ask that as well.
They're
Both English.
Oh, right. Maybe.
Do you style your hair off one of them?
I do.
Is it Danny Murphy?
It is Danny Murphy, yeah.
Good call.
Although I actually style myself on Danny Mills, not Danny
right,
Murphy.
okay.
Yeah.
Is the other one
link there?
Is the other one a defender?
No. This 4th scorer is probably the lesser known of the 4.
Did he play for Blackburn?
He did.
Was it little David Thompson?
It was.
I
Yeah.
said it's one of them.
Well, so,
Are they local?
And I said they are.
Oh.
to be fair, Stephen Gerrard as well was one of them. Though.
And Danny Murphy.
No, but I thought I can't remember when I asked
All
that
of them,
question. Danny
I think
Murphy's not local, he's a Wool, isn't he?
Not getting into that now, but
Sheffield Wednesday. I'm struggling for any Sheffield Wednesday player. Will we have heard of him?
absolutely.
Did he play for Everton?
Yes.
It's
Is
not
it
Danny
Nicholas
Cadmachi, is it?
Alexanderson?
What did you say, Tosh?
Did Danny Cadmachi play for Sheffield Wednesday or was just his son?
I think he did, but later on.
Well, go on, Bob. I reckon Bob's probably got it anyway.
Nicholas Alexanderson.
Correct.
Get in.
Shout Bob there.
Great shout.
I wouldn't have got that unless you said he played for Everton, because I'd forgotten he played for them.
That's the main reason I picked that game, to be fair. I've got one other game, but it's a 1-0. Do you want it or not?
Yeah,
Yeah,
go on. It's
go
only
on.
one score, isn't
only
it?
one scorer.
Okay, so it's same day, and it's 18th place Derby against second place Leeds. Leeds 1-0 win.
Is
With
what
a
Was the scorer Australian?
I want to say.
No.
Hmm.
90th minute winner.
Is he Irish?
Yes.
Is his
Ian
left
Hart.
foot as good as you?
Not quite as good, but almost.
Ian Hart.
Is it Ian Hart?
It is Ian Hart, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I thought that'd take a bit longer. Fair play, lads.
Get a third game ready, Sean.
I can't be bothered.
Ah, rude.
So the game of the weekend was Arsenal versus Crystal Palace. A massive win for the Arsenal. 5 goals. Roy Hodgson looking very much under pressure. Did anyone manage to catch any of it?
Only on match of the day.
What did you
It was very enjoyable. Actually, it's how I saw the 2 last goals in the Dovey. Yeah, it was just Crystal Palace clearly capitulated by then, and your favourite Eze had an absolute stinker for either the 4th or 5th goal. He just looked like his head had completely gone. So I was quite happy with that because I'm really not a fan of his at all.
Wrong.
Bad cheese, isn't he? I couldn't see Palace getting anything out of the game. I certainly didn't expect a 5-0, but looks like the writing's on the wall for Paul O'Dwyer.
Seems that way.
Yeah, I think I also only seen the highlights. I completely forgot it was on, to be perfectly honest, that it was on at 12:30 on the Saturday. It just completely passed me by. So, yeah, I didn't watch it. But I think the first 2 goals were set pieces, weren't they, from Arsenal, which you sort of imagine that Roy Hodgson, that's one of the things, a bit like Sean Dyche, you'd expect them to have that in place. First one especially, Gabriel's header, the way the lad allows him to just climb all over him. It's just such a bad goal to concede, really.
Yeah, they made a big deal of Arsenal going away for warm weather training in Dubai or somewhere dreadful like that, and they were bigging up their set piece coach and saying how hard he'd worked there. But
Was it that Salt Bay? I seen him. He was with Arteta, wasn't he?
absolutely perverted, that video, wasn't it?
It made me sick.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, I mean, it's obviously weird. It's such an important game, and I think Arsenal do score because I know we've been up there in the statistics, Everton, with the set pieces, but we're always seem to be up there with Arsenal. So you sort of take it for granted. Teams as good as that is obviously something they rely on. I thought, I think Callum alluded to it, that the 3rd goal was a brilliant counter-attacking goal, just fantastic. I was thinking, because Sean was talking about goals the other week, Bamford, but I think that's my favourite type of goal. I love a goal that goes from one end to the other dead quick. And I just thought the way like that Raya starts that off, just how quick he's not a brilliant goalkeeper, but how quick he sees that and how quick he starts that. Just a brilliant goal, and Trossard just so cool the way he sits the defender down and finished it off. Just a brilliant goal.
Yeah, everything was great about it, and everything was kind of like as it should have been. The pass to Jesus, pass from Jesus. And the finish, dead cool the way. Even the finish was really good. I think I seen someone tweet before that, like, if that was Ramsdale and not Raya, Ramsdale would have like caught the ball and tried to put his tongue out to like the away fans.
I see that. Yeah,
he wouldn't have threw it out quickly. But yeah, I'm not too sure on that Raya, to be honest. I don't think he's actually that good. but he was very good there. It was a very quick counter attack, and I don't know, I think sometimes Arsenal maybe have been accused of not being like clinical enough, but that was like clinical. That was like a City type goal. I thought that was impressive, but obviously you wouldn't have expected a team sort of to set up like Hodgson does to lose that game in the manner they did with such pressure on it. You would have thought he would have just kind of hung on to anything, but
Do you think
yeah,
they've given up?
Possibly.
Do you
I
reckon
think
they're
obviously
trying to get him sacked?
that's maybe even past that, isn't it? I don't know.
Mm.
I don't. He's obviously like very close to the board and that, isn't he? And stuff. He's obviously like well respected there. They're not going to want to like do it disrespectfully. I don't think, are they, in terms of sacking him? Whether he moves on, he goes like upstairs, as they say. But
Why didn't he do that over the summer though?
yeah, I don't know. It's mad.
Yeah.
It just seems a mad one, doesn't it? That they got rid. Well, they didn't get rid. He left, and whether you don't really know a couple of years ago, and they appoint Vieira, and it seems to be this sort of progressive change. They've tried that before, haven't they? When they got De Boer, and then they went back to Hodgson after they'd had like Allardyce. Can't quite remember the order, but it seems like they obviously gone for Vieira, and Vieira done quite a good job first year, and then was under a bit of a pressure. And Hodgson did a good job when they sacked him. But that just seemed it was just the perfect caretaker thing, was it? Why they then went for him, I don't know whether at the end of the day these owners and they've got a few like different people investing in a few different like I think it's American Premier League, isn't it? And Roy Hodgson probably gives you a better chance of doing that than most. He knows he's whatever's going to happen. Palace, you just under Roy, you think they're probably not going to get relegated. Whereas you take a risk on someone now, you think maybe, but
Yeah.
the other thing you mentioned, Eze, Bob, that Eze and Elise, who are both fantastic footballers, they never seem to both be fit. Certainly haven't over the last year. So it'll be actually interesting to see how many times. I know that every time I've watched Palace, I don't think I've ever seen one of them seems to be coming back from injury, getting injured.
I think it's a shame for Palace. I think that the team you've got to have that manager, I just don't think plays to the strengths that they should be playing to. I don't think they should be playing.
Will Hughes shouldn't be playing in that team with the flair players he's got ahead of him.
But there sort of should be. There's got to be a point, hasn't it, where they've been there a few years now and they haven't really progressed. And I'm a big fan of Eze and Elise, and I think
they won't be there long, will they?
He was giving them freedom, not as much Will Hughes, but yeah, I don't know. Like obviously, I was at Goodison the week before when they took Eze off with half an hour left, and the Palace fans like reacting badly for that. I think it is a matter of time. I think with regards to that, but Roy Hodgson is that type of manager where it wouldn't surprise me if he win the next game and he keeps himself longer. You just know he's a probably win 1, 3, and 4 manager, isn't he? I was listening somewhere where he said like his win percentage at Palace is like consistent to what it was in his first spell. Like it's just that's the way he's been. It's like because he had a brilliant return, didn't he? He won. Remember, the one was a 4-5-1 away at Leeds. He had a run, didn't he, when he came, and it looked like he was letting Eze and Elise run riot, and obviously Zaha was there last summer still. But yeah, I think you just feel like that the time's nearing, but it's whether they want to make that risk in the middle of a season because it could backfire.
Yeah, I think I just don't think he's obviously not the man to take it forward, is he? But as you say, he might just be enough to keep them safe this year. Palace are just that team you think are finished 12th, 13th, unless they get someone like sort of really expressive in as a manager, but. Yeah, it's obviously it looks like the writing's on the wall, but you never know. They might be able to string a few games together.
There's probably an element as well, isn't there? You see, like Brighton, obviously their biggest rivals for some reason is Brighton. I don't know if I just said that, but they see the way they're coached and things like that, and you think really with the likes of Eze, Elise, and people like that, they've actually got people who could be better. With Bournemouth, there seems to be sort of something with on Sunday by Liverpool, but they seem to be developing an identity, and it doesn't actually, to some managers, it doesn't really take that long to do that. And you think Palace, they're sort of back to just that. It's not like, I thought that game with Everton last week, which was obviously the last time I seen them. I mean, both teams were pretty dreadful. It was a dreadful game.
So boring, yeah. As you say, it's with the players they've got, it would have been a great time to try and do that with a manager. But I think now, like Eze and Elise, they just go. You've probably kind of missed the boat. I think so. I think you've probably missed the boat. I'd like to see Elise going to like a possibly Arsenal-ish, Spurs. I think Eze goes to that kind of team as well. I think Elise definitely goes to one of the big, possibly even United. I don't know.
Again, he can't stay fit. Again, it's a bit of a risk, I know, and especially no one's spending any money and things like that for someone who can't stay fit. I don't know.
Yeah, I just think it's possibly missed the boat to try and do that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
You might be right.
You've got some good players. But yeah, that cup game was terrible. But we'll maybe not talk too much on that.
Okay, then moving on then to Maroon 5. So as always, a little recap of last week's one. Last week with the start of the AFCON, we looked at the best or our favourite African players of the Premier League era, really. We had our special guest Cam, and surprisingly, he didn't bring Decore a win with I think one of the best arguments we've ever had on Maroon 5, but wasn't good enough to win. This week's winner was Bob with the Yaya Toure. 47% of the vote, and a real great performance. So shows what happens when you take it serious, Bob, really.
Yep, true.
Yeah. So Yaya Toure joining other great midfielders on the island, Bobby Charlton, Zidane, Jason Kumas, to name but a few, and I'm sure he'll have a great time. This week's one, we're going to link to, obviously we're in the midst of the January transfer window, deadline day approaching in the next week or so. So we're going to look at what we think are the worst January signings. Okay. We're going to pick an Everton one. So all of our picks won't have an Everton link at first. And then we're going to put the fifth member to be one of many Everton bad signings in January. Does anyone want to start us off for a January bad signing?
Go on, I'll go.
Go on, Sean.
I've got an AFCON link as well, so let's bridge the two. So for mine this week, I've chosen probably not the biggest name player, because I think I'll throw it on record early doors. I think you've all gone a bit obvious, but that's fine. We'll see what the poll says. I've decided to go a little bit lower, and I've gone for Wilfred Boney.
I think it's Bonnie.
No, that's Max Burns. I think around that time, I mean, I don't know about for you lot, but I think Swansea were like, everyone's kind of not the favourite team, but everyone quite likes Swansea. I don't know many people that didn't like Swansea, unless I'm wrong.
Cardiff fans.
I mean, all right.
The anti-Welsh.
Neutrals then, quite liked, in my opinion, quite liked Swansea. I did anyway. And I think they kind of had that knack around then of kind of bringing players on. Like the season before Boney came in, they had Michu, obviously. Michu kind of set the league alight. And then the following season, they got Boney in. And I think, even though maybe, if you look back at his numbers, probably they are quite good, but they're not amazing. But he kind of had everything. I think Swansea fans love him for the kind of player he was. He was a boss striker. He was physical. He was great in the air. He was good on the ball. Yes, Bob?
He had a great song as well.
What was the song?
You'll have to get the video. So there's a video of him singing it, and like
his boots.
Yeah, his boots.
Yeah. I was just
like running along, and he's like clicking his boots in time with him singing. It's unbelievable.
Was it not What's it? Come On, Feel the Noise by Slade?
Yeah.
Something.
Come on, Wilfred Boney. Scores, goals for Swansea. It's absolutely great.
Oh,
but it's the boots. It's the boots that make it.
It's the boots.
It's just not like the studs on like concrete, and they're making that sort of like clicking noise. It is great. I'm with Bob on this. I was also thinking that.
Was that in like his first spell, or
I think so.
I can't remember. Or was it Swansea or City? Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, anyway,
no, it was definitely when he was.
I'll get on it anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, all of those things plus a great song. So obviously shows how great he was. And then
song of the week.
That's true. Having done my research, it appears that a lot of his goals weren't necessarily against the little teams either. He'd kind of come up against bigger teams or in Europe in that mad time when Swansea were in Europe. He kind of dominated in those games, kind of making him feel like even more of a bigger deal. And then, unfortunately, around that time, I think it was 2015 into 16, Sniffy City came. That's what it's called.
We call him Sniffy then.
God.
We'll just come back in 20 minutes, Sean.
Oh. So City were then sniffing around. But I think unfortunately for Boney, it was at that time where it was Pellegrini. I think he had a full season after it as well. That half and a full season after it. City weren't really the City they are now with the vision that kind of Guardiola's got. And he was brought in because they were low on strikers. I think they had Aguero, Dzeko. They had a few others and they were injured, so they just needed a striker. They went to Swansea and brought Boney in. At the time, he was at the AFCON. So a nice little link there. Won that with the Ivory Coast. Came back, and it was kind of a big deal when he signed for City. Everyone thought next level for him. But he just kind of didn't deliver for City. He blames malaria. Said he caught malaria, and he said he celebrated the AFCON too hard, which apparently knocked him on for a season and a half. So I don't know what happened there, but he just never really got the game time. He was obviously never going to play ahead of Aguero, even ahead of Dzeko. He was never really going to play, so he was only going to get a sniff in Europe. He was maybe going to play when he was injured. So it's just, I think it's sad that he made that move when he did to a City team that was almost in transition. Even though they were still a very good City team, he was put in without, he didn't really have to, he wasn't kind of fitting into their formations or anything like that. It was just kind of, we need a striker, let's get one that scored a couple of goals in the Premier League. And I think if he would have stayed at Swansea or maybe gone elsewhere, I think he might now be so much better, considered than he is. If you know what I mean, he's a great flash in the pan kind of striker, where we think, oh, he was great him, but he almost kind of gets put in with Michu, which almost seems a bit harsh on him. So yeah, I just think if he'd not made that move and gone elsewhere or stayed a bit longer, maybe now he'd be, I don't know, considered a much better Premier League player than he is.
I think it's fair enough. Yeah, I think it's just one of, as you say, Sean, it's that sort of, you don't feel like City would sign a player like that maybe now. Yeah, as you say, it just seemed to be just a stopgap for a month rather than,
Yeah.
And I think, yeah, it's sad, as you say, it's sad for him and it's sad for Swansea, isn't it? It's one of the frustrations, I think, of football these days, where it is just you have a good player, he's like everything to Swansea, and Man City just say, we'll have him. We don't even need him, but we'll just take him off you.
Yeah, because they already had...
Kind of similar to when they signed Rocky Santa Cruz from Blackburn.
Yeah, exactly.
That kind of move, isn't it?
But the only thing is with the Santa Cruz one, they weren't they'd already won a league at the point where Boney's signed, and they still had Aguero, and Rocky Santa Cruz come, they probably had not much better. But it's just that thing of, it's the same, when he came and took Rodwell off us and Lescott off us. It's, again, Lescott's probably similar size to Santa Cruz, but yeah, I think, know what you mean. I think malaria sounds like a pretty valid excuse.
Yeah, but it's whether it's legit, isn't it?
As well.
What?
Did Sherlock Cole have malaria at one point? Let's make that up.
I think that happened, yeah.
Yeah.
She blamed some of her bad performances on that as well.
Yeah, that's the split. They split up because of that.
When the over 25s didn't do well in X Factor one year, that's what she accounted time for.
But yeah, apparently in his only full season he had before he got loaned out and eventually sold, he was outscored by a young Iheanacho, which I think is wild when you think of where the do you know what I mean? Even what we think of Iheanacho now is just like, you know what I mean? He's all right. Seems mad that he, even when he was a kid, he was outscoring Will Boney, who was one of the best strikers in the Premier League at the time. It probably shows how little he played, to be fair.
How long were you at City for?
18 months, I think.
Was it? Yeah.
Yeah. And then he went on loan to Stoke, Swansea, and then he actually ended up he retired in the Saudi League, which I didn't know. Before it was big.
Did he go to Newport County at one stage?
Yeah, I think he did, yeah. I think he just trained there or something, yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Right. Good shout, Sean.
Good shout, Sean. As you say, I think there's a risk of going quite obvious there. I think you've made a nice thought out one there. I'll go next. I went last week, so I'll come with an obvious one. The obvious one. I'm going to go for the first one that jumped out to me was Alexis Sanchez moving from Arsenal to Manchester United in 2018. So yeah, just the most obvious thinking for me was that I just loved him when he was at Arsenal. I think when they signed him just after the World Cup for just a few years, he was up there with the best players in the league. You know, turned Arsenal from back into a side that you thought could challenge and could win things. He won a couple of FA Cups. You know, didn't win a league. You know, but put them back in the sort of frame and things like that. And I just think, yeah, when he was then touted to move to Man United, I think again it was another one of them with typical Arsenal where someone coming to the end of the contract, they had to sort of make a deal, and Mkhitaryan went the other way. There was a lot of rumours he was going to Man City in that period, and United came and paid. I don't think it was a lot of money because it was towards the end of his contract, I say, and Mkhitaryan went the other way, but a lot in wages, apparently, you know, massive wages because he could offer him that thing to go ahead of City. And really he just didn't deliver. I was just looking at some of the statistics. You know, for Arsenal, he scored in 166 games, 80 goals. For United, he only managed to score 3 league goals and 5 goals altogether in 45 games, which I think he was still sort of in his prime when he went to United. And it's just, I don't know, it's symptomatic of people going to Man United these days. And as we've had this discussion on the podcast a few times about players not developing, but you really thought that was the sort of signing that could take United closer to City and closer to winning the league title. You know, with people like Pogba about him and different people like that. You just thought it felt like it always feels when you sign someone from this country and someone who's done so well. It felt like a bit of a banker that it was going to work, and for it to not. Again, I think he was there for a couple of years, maybe only 18 months as well, before he was sent out on loan to Inter Milan. Just shows how much of a failure that really was. Such a bad move, really, for probably for him as well. You know, as I say, at Arsenal, he was worshipped by the fans. He was doing such a great job to then be able to go to Man United, where he was. I think if you were to ask most United fans, they'd say he was like bored and poor. I remember people questioning his attitude and all the money he was and not getting a game and coming off the bench and things like that.
Didn't he
Just really
absolutely
was a sad.
hate it? Didn't he absolutely hate it in Manchester as well?
I'm sure he probably would.
He did, and he's come out saying after his first training session, he knew he'd made a mistake, which isn't a good thing.
Was it him as well? I was thinking just then as I was talking. Was he the mad intro video where he was playing the piano?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair play.
Song of the week again.
Yeah, song of the week. We're going to struggle to find a link to January transfer window for song of the week. So, yeah.
Also, I've just had a look, and isn't it a little bit not ironic, but nice little coincidence that Sanchez and Mkhitaryan are now both teammates at Inter Milan?
I didn't know that. I'd forgotten.
Yeah.
Certainly forgotten it. Is he back at Inter Milan? Is he?
Yeah, he went to Marseille.
I know he went to Marseille. I didn't know he'd gone back to Milan. Inter, I should say. Yeah. Both involved, and I think, yeah, similar to Mkhitaryan, he had a bit of a spell for Arsenal where he was okay. He was a decent player, but never really cut up any trees. But yeah, I think Sanchez didn't deliver on the wages he was being paid and the promise he showed at Arsenal. And again, of like fantastic career before that as well. You know, Barcelona, brilliant career for Chile, winning a couple of Copa Americas and playing really well in the World Cup before he went to Arsenal. So that really has ever since. Oh, sorry, Sean.
Sorry, Josh. Do you think it's like a United who is just like devoid of ideas? You know, like almost trying to replicate that Van Persie transfer from a couple of years before of like, if we take the best player for a rival, it'll take us over the edge, but it's just not the same, is it?
Yeah, well, I think a couple of things. I think, there was that definitely, because I think Gary Neville always talks about, you know, under Fergie, it seemed to be that they'd sign like one of the best players in the league, or, you know, Teddy Sheringham and people like that, but he'd also look to sign the best young prospect in the league, you know, Wayne Rooney and people like that, Rio Ferdinand. But I also think there was a spell where they just seemed to be thinking whatever City look like they're going to try and sign, we'll just go and offer more money, because rumours are that was what was happening with Fred as well, who he signed. I think, can't remember, but it was around that time, maybe the summer of. And Man United come in with an unbelievably high bid and lots of wages and things like that. So definitely devoid of any sort of ideas. Just, I think it just sums up United really over the past 10 years, where there seems to be no sort of strategy. Right then, Callum, Bob, anyone want to jump in?
I'll jump in because I think it's from the same transfer window.
Oh.
So January 2018. I'm not going to go for an Everton link, but I'm going to go for a Liverpool transfer of out of the Reds. So I'm going for Philippe Coutinho going from Liverpool to Barcelona for an initial fee of £105 million, supposedly rising to 142 million if various clauses were met. But the way the transfer has gone, you'd guess it'd be closer to that measly 105 million. Begrudgingly, I'll say that he was an absolute genius for Liverpool. He was absolutely brilliant. He could seemingly do everything in the final third, and his link up with his either when he was playing as a number 10 or on the wing, his link up with the players around him was just unbelievable. It did make Liverpool a better team, but the move to Barcelona just didn't work for him at all. You could probably say that he was a big fish in a small pond at Liverpool, and he struggled with the stars at Barcelona. Never really seemed to fit in their system for some bizarre reason, and I think his career since then has just been a massive disappointment considering how good he was earlier on in his career. The move to Barcelona became all the more comical when he went on loan to Bayern Munich, and I wouldn't say almost single-handedly dumped them out the Champions League, but he certainly had a part in the 8-2 victory that Bayern had over Barcelona. I think he assisted and scored 2 on the way to Barcelona being dumped out of the Champions League, and Bayern obviously went on to win the trophy. So considering the initial outlay, potential add-ons, and what he cost them over that spell in terms of not winning the Champions League, I think he'd struggle to pick a worse January transfer, even if it does sound very, very obvious.
Again, I don't know whether you said that, Bob, just sort of you cut out from, I think by internet as usual, that actually, what Barca then had to pay Liverpool more for him winning the Champions League with Bayern. Did you know that?
No, I didn't add that in, but that was in the research.
So they had a clause in the contract that if they had the clause in the contract that if he was he was playing for Barcelona and he won the Champions League, but it wasn't like club specific. So he knocked them out the Champions League, and then he won it with Bayern, and they had to pay him on.
And another thing to add to it, like the ridiculous transfer fee they paid for him and the financial ruin they're in now. How do you go from being one of the best club sides ever for like a certain period, like 3-4 years, to like scrambling to get money together to buy Martin Braithwaite or whatever his name is? It just shows how much. I'd say Barcelona are arguably the only worst run club than Everton, or at least on par.
I think around that time as well, he signed obviously Griezmann, and I think you say like you don't know how he fit in it. Was it not an element of they both sort of play in Messi's position, and why they'd be signing? I know Coutinho, you're right. You said Coutinho played off the wing at times, but they just seem to be just the same, similar to what we said with United. No real thinking on what's going to do, particularly with Griezmann as well, who also could probably be in that same category of for Barcelona spending like however much money. And however money that was, I think it was a bit more maybe than it was for Coutinho, but it was certainly around that much. But yeah, just that's, and you think then as well, Liverpool obviously going to the Champions League final that year, win it the next year.
I wasn't going to mention that.
With spending, money on Van Dijk and Alisson that they got for Coutinho, which are almost certainly the reasons they did them things. So, as usual, things work out for Liverpool really well.
I was going to ignore that part of it, but thanks a lot, Tosh.
Before we move on, it's not really relevant, but I think it is to both because it'll link into columns maybe. Have you ever seen that video online of like, do you know when these fellas do like interviews outside matches of like the Chelsea fan, like the autistic Chelsea fan?
Yeah.
That on it like resurfaced on my YouTube the other day.
The one who's talking about the atmosphere being electric, or
no, not him.
No, it's some like pure knowledgeable lad.
I thought that one as well, Bob.
No,
he's like,
what a video that is.
Can we get in touch with him and get him on?
That's what I was gonna say. This fella's my dream guest. You've probably seen it. The fella's interview him and he goes like, who won the Champions League in the last 5 seasons? And he goes like, Real Madrid. Like, he doesn't open his teeth when he talks. It's the best. He talked about who was top goal scorer in a league season, and he gives two answers. Harry Kane. Turns out it was Harry Kane, and the interviewer goes, "No, it was Luis Suarez." And then the fella has like a meltdown. He's going, "He was in La Liga. He was in La Liga," and it's my favorite video ever. And I've spent a lot of today watching videos of him. So coming soon to a podcast near you.
Not
Yeah.
as good as Atmosphere was electric.
He honestly is well better, Bob.
He's going to have a
I'm on this
knowledge
one.
up with Tosh.
I'd beat him.
You would not.
I actually would.
No, who was top goal scorer then? Oh no, I've just told you the answer.
Harry Kane.
And what league was Suarez playing in?
La Liga.
How many World Cups has Brazil won?
5, 58, 62, 70, 94, 2002.
Oh, maybe you would win then.
Go on,
Go.
Callum, next one.
Right. My one with the Chelsea link, as Sean just said, is Fernando Torres' move from Liverpool to Chelsea in 2011. Obviously, I was sort of having a lot of Liverpool fans as mates. We obviously know that Torres was such like a cult hero. Back then we were in school, secondary school back then as well. Yeah, he was a big hero then. And I seem to remember that, I don't know if it was, but it seems like a shock that would have happened, that they would have sold him to Chelsea. I think obviously he went to try and win things, which to be fair, he did. Not that he played much of a part in, like, he wasn't really it wasn't too successful individually for him, but the team did actually win a lot when he went to Chelsea. But it was the British record fee of 50 million at the time. I think the most a Spanish player, anyone had paid for a Spanish player, I think, ever. So it was like a transfer with big expectations. It was a big move, obviously such a big move for a massive player to go from one English club to another. But yeah, obviously it just didn't work out for him at all, really. I was surprised in doing the research for it. They actually played more for Chelsea than for Liverpool. I would have thought he was at Liverpool for longer. Played more for Chelsea by about maybe 30 or 40 games, but scored maybe less than half of the goals that he did for Liverpool. And obviously there's that game against, is it United? Early rounds, keeper and misses?
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of thing. And he became a bit of a parody, didn't he? And a bit of a meme
Scored in that
almost.
game, though.
Yeah, was that where he was waiting for his first goal?
I think
like his first goal was coming.
No, I mean, I don't know whether it was this like the start, like the next season after he'd signed, and he scored a very good goal in that. I think United were 3-0 up at half time, like battering them, and he scored a good goal, and then he missed that sitter.
Yeah, it became just a bit of a meme, didn't it? And I think, like with some of the others, I think it's interesting that how one bad move can completely like ruin someone's career. They just like, I think after Chelsea, he was there for a few years, then he went to AC Milan. I think he played 10 times, scored once, and then he went to, I think, a Chinese club possibly.
No, he did. He went back to Atletico.
I was going to say he went back to
That's
Atletico,
right. Then he ended at like a Chinese.
Japanese, you big racist.
It's not racist, I said that. But yeah, it's mad how like one bad move can just like ruin someone's career, or at least take it off track for a long time.
Say it to his face if you've seen the size of him now.
I know he's massive now, isn't he? Bodybuilder. But yeah, just for such big expectations of what that move could be and kind of what he was and what he meant, and to live on such a big fee at the time, it just didn't work out for him, I think, as he wanted it to individually. But yeah, my shout is Fernando Torres as such a big transfer that he ended up sort of becoming a bit of a laughing stock, I think, at times, which I'm sure he wasn't too pleased about. So yeah,
it's another unfortunate one for us, and that Liverpool got a lot of money for him and then replaced him very well with half of their splurge anyway. We're getting Suarez in.
Yeah, was it? Did they get Carroll?
Yeah, both.
Carroll and
Suarez. Carroll, yes. I mean, that could have been another shout for really one of the worst January transfers. Carroll, to be fair.
Yeah,
Suarez, one of the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, possibly so. Yeah, but there we go. My shout to Torres. Yeah,
I think
worst
as well,
January transfers.
I think the point you make, Callum, about him sort of going downhill, it's really interesting, isn't it? That, I think it surprised a lot of people in that, Liverpool, going from Liverpool to Chelsea, because Liverpool probably don't get on at that point, don't really have that deal, the way, like, I'm going to offend Bobby here by comparing them to Everton and calling Everton small. Everton do get the club players picked off them, whereas Liverpool really probably historically don't. And that, again, I remember McManaman running down his contract to go to Madrid, and but that was probably the first time. Mascherano followed not long after. Obviously, Coutinho's another one that that was a bit of a shock. I think the other, to play devil's advocate slightly, obviously maybe Chelsea's best ever win in a Champions League tie. Would Chelsea have paid 50 million to have won the Champions League? And would you have done it without him? I don't know.
They'd certainly do it now.
But he'd been over 8 years, so they get away with financial fair play.
Yeah.
He knows what he's doing, bowling.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think unquestionably he did score. I think did he score the winner, or he certainly scored in the UEFA Cup final the year after they won the Champions League as well. So
I think he went from like 81 goals in just over 140 appearances for Liverpool. I think the quickest the Liverpool player to get to 50 goals. I think got 45 and 172 for Chelsea.
Unquestionably he was bad.
Massive drop off.
I think there was already signs just before. Sorry, Sean. Just before he went to Chelsea. Like, he wasn't. If you remember, the World Cup was the year before, I think, and he wasn't playing for Spain in that. He got injured again after that. He didn't actually. I think if you looked, this is just from memory, and it could be proved completely wrong. I think that season he went to Chelsea in the January for Liverpool. He'd not played and scored much at all then. I think he scored, one or two against Chelsea. But I think he was already the climb was sort of there, because he did. He was scoring and captain at Atletico at the age of like in 19, 20. He really did start early and was a bright spark to then, and obviously brilliant at Liverpool. So, like a lot of people, maybe he was already on his way down quite young.
Yeah, another good song as well. Unfortunately,
a good song. Sorry, Sean, I interrupted you there.
No, all I was going to say was, do you know with Torres though? Do you reckon I'm not doubting he was a good player, because obviously he was unbelievable, but do you think the Liverpool years are almost eulogised a bit more? Like, if you think about them stats that go around about when he had Vidic on toast, you go, oh, Vidic is terrified of him, and then if you look at the stats, he only scored twice against United while Vidic played. I don't know whether it
was that one. I think it was that one performance, so when he did just tear him limb from limb.
Did he get sent off 2 or 3 times as well?
I don't know.
Definitely
I don't know.
twice.
I don't know if the obviously he was unbelievable at the time, best striker in the world at that time. But I don't know. No,
I don't think he was the best striker in that Spanish team.
He probably wasn't, actually.
Yeah.
Well, no, I know what you mean, Sean. It's definitely right. Again, I'm going to be anti-Liverpool. I think that's the case with everyone, isn't it? Liverpool, they've got the best right back ever, the best left back ever, the best centre back ever, the best goalie ever. They've won one league in 10 years, 20 years. So, but yeah, to say, I think Torres, he was just that thing of he was time for Liverpool. He scored. If you watch some of his goals, every type of goal, long range, just ones he got in behind. He was brilliant in the air as well. Some of the headers he scores, and he was unbelievable. But
wasn't
I know what you mean.
Wasn't I don't know whether I've completely made this up, but I'm sure one of the absolute gimps in our year in school wrote a poem about him.
Name and
I can't
shame.
remember who it was. What?
Name and shame.
I can't even remember his name. Might have been Percy.
Sean, I don't know about that.
In the context of it, though, why did he write? Was it
English GCSE?
I don't know, but I'm sure somebody wrote a poem about it as the worst thing.
You're thinking of Half Cast.
I think that's a great poem. M5 next week.
Can't say that. Sean. Can't say that these days.
I'm quoting John Agard.
Great poem.
I prefer Kieran Agard. Am I right, Bob?
Oh, legend. Get the MK Dons fans involved.
We've seen Halfcast live as well, haven't we?
We have.
Yeah.
Right. Performance.
Should we just quickly, because we've spoke quite a lot, we've got a 5th member to promote to the island or to be suggested, and we're going to do an Everton one. Anyone want to quickly fire a couple of names out?
I thought I was quite conclusive, really.
You were very conclusive.
What did you say?
I said Cenk Tosun.
What about Nias?
No, because he's got the cult hero label, hasn't he? And everyone's got a bit of sympathy for him because he was treated appallingly, but he spent what was it, 25, 28 million pound on Cenk Tosun. And I saw a tweet fairly recently saying the reason he played so rarely was that his hair powder was a safety hazard at Goodison or something like that, which I quite enjoyed. But he obviously alive, but it was quite funny. He was appalling, and when he was announced during a Derby defeat, wasn't he?
Yeah, there was not the cup game where we got
Yeah.
beat.
Oh,
When
he was
yeah.
shockingly bad.
Do you know what? I actually don't think he was. I know he was for us, but I think you could. If he'd been a bit bigger and a bit faster, we'd have had a player in our hands. It's
Oh,
just
yeah,
a shame
that's-
he wasn't.
bit bigger, faster, and better. Boy, would we have made a good signing.
And
No,
if
at the end of that,
he
at
went
the end of that
ball
season, he
gracefully
scored a
like
couple of good
Sean,
goals. Yeah, no,
that's
yeah,
my
I
biggest
think it's
problem
hard
with
to
him.
argue. I was trying to think. Some was Senderos in January.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
he was
you
on
can't have him as
loan,
a
wasn't he?
yeah. You can't have him as the worst January transfer.
I'll do what I want. So
I'd I'd say it's between Cenk Tosun and Theo Walcott.
Nah.
nice man, Walcott. Go on, Bobby. You're selecting Tosin then.
Well,
You've got-
nobody else
you've-
is
You're
other than
you're
Senderos, which is a bit Anthony Gardner.
Anthony Gardner. What about Big Traore?
Terrible.
Well, he only
No,
played
but
one
that-
game,
he
didn't
was-
he?
Yeah,
yeah,
what a
he
goal
was
that
on
was! That
loan.
was that the back heel.
Yeah, the
The
worst
goal,
back heel goal ever.
It was his arse anyway, wasn't it?
Was it?
Eliakim Mangala.
He was pretty bad as well. Yeah. There's
Well, I
quite a
think
few.
I think most of our bad ones really have been on loan.
And quite cheapo. So like,
Yeah, so
not as much-
I considering the fee and how little we got back for him.
You get to vote then, Bob. Yeah, Toast, and then we'll go for that then. So we'll wrap it up there. So January transfer window, we're signings. We have Alexis Sanchez, Wilfred Boney, Coutinho, Torres, and Cenk Tosun. Okay. So if you could go to X, please, and vote, that'd be much appreciated. And we'll see you will send off to the island. Right then, should we get a game for this week?
So, as it's FA Cup weekend, our 3 games are from the 4th round of the FA Cup. So, it might be a bit of a mixed bag in terms of leagues, divisions. We might have a couple of tricky ones. So, 3 games have been selected, and they are Watford, Southampton, Liverpool, Norwich, and Leicester against Birmingham. So, let's get them in the wheel and see which game is chosen.
I've got a song of the week, Sean.
What about if it's the transfer window, money by ABBA?
Yeah.
Sure.
Or it could just be Gary Neville's noise after Torres scored for 3 minutes.
So no songs with
Us.
January in the title.
What about she came in through the window? She came in through the January transfer window.
You told me off for putting too many Beatles references in.
Right.
Back to 1975 called January. Don't know if that's any good though.
Not
He's
for
an
this
absolute-
podcast, it isn't.
He's an absolute pervert, so we're not
Yeah,
having
he's
him.
weird, isn't he? He is weird, isn't he?
I mean, I'm a huge fan. So,
They've got
I
3
mean,
good
I think the
songs to be fair.
1975 are really good, but he's
yeah,
Don't
but
trust
he was in Waterloo Road with his mum and dad. So,
Was he in it? Yeah.
yeah.
Who was he?
No,
Bolton?
he was just like background, but it was
Was he
weird
not
'cause
was he mates with Bolton Smiley or?
in the gang with Paul Langley.
What a little ferret Langley was.
There's one in every friendship group. Also, yeah, I rewatched Waterloo Road in COVID, and I was buzzing when I saw him.
Why did you do that?
I wish I could rewatch it more.
Could you get Paul Langley on the podcast, you think?
No. Probably
He's probably not up to much.
no.
Can't be still following Bolton round.
He probably is, though. You know, I wish I could. What a guy.
I've got no idea what you're talking about.
Waterloo Road. See, Tosh, you want to do a Waterloo Road podcast, didn't you?
Did I?
Yeah.
yeah, don't deny it now.
No, you're on the air.
Maybe we
That
can
was
see
me-
Waterloo Road.
That's me 2 ideas with Maroon 5 and a Waterloo Road podcast. Come on.
Right, we actually have a game. I don't know if you forgot, but we do have a game. And I've just spun it, and it's come through as Watford Southampton.
Oh dear.
Now, anyone watched any Southampton or Watford recently?
I
I've s-
I've not seen too much Southampton, but I think their turnaround this season has been insanely good. They were like doing in the bottom four for I think the first month or so, first couple of months, and then now the second, are they? Second or third?
Hardy.
Yeah,
Do you know what? Why that is? He dropped Mason
yeah. They
Holgate.
dropped Mason Holgate. Yeah, it's he's turned it around massively. So well done, Southampton.
It's Russell Martin, isn't it? Their
Yeah,
manager.
yeah, yeah.
And I
He's done
think
really well.
from what I've said, again, I can't pretend I've seen a lot of Southampton, but I think he's trying to get them to play football and like play it out from the back.
It's a
He's a
good
very
thing for a
like
manager to
progressive
do,
coach.
really.
Yeah, good point.
He's got the right sport. I'll give him
Yeah,
that.
yeah. No, I think he came from Swansea, didn't he? I think yeah, like he sort of tried to change up the style of play and very much a man of his principles. I can't remember when I heard him a couple of months ago, but I think they must have lost the goal, conceding the silly goal. I think they drew somewhere. Might have been Cardiff off the top of my head, and he was on the. I was heard him on the radio saying like, that's my fault. I don't care. I'm asking them to play out from the back, etc. So,
Yeah.
be interesting to see if they gone above Ipswich now.
But I think they're maybe 2 points ahead of them. I think.
I thought you'd like him as well, Bob. Didn't he slide Rishi Sunak off the other week?
He did.
Oh yeah, he said he didn't want to meet him.
Yeah.
Yeah, legend.
Right.
He's called Russell though.
Right, who's going to take the hit and watch Watford Southampton this weekend then for us?
Cal.
That probably is anyway.
I was going to
Nerd.
and watch that now. Gutted.
Right. The parameters have been set 54-50. You know the score. And our number this week is 286.
Wow.
Anyone who gets this close, I'm not.
We need to stop these cheating accusations round. It's starting to sink in.
I did never start that, by the way.
Just jumped on the bandwagon when you lost your lead.
Yeah, I
Who
lost my
did
league 'cause I
start
wasn't
it?
allowed to. When I lost, I wasn't allowed to play.
Say that again.
Exactly. 286.
What's the number again? Sorry.
286, I think.
Right. Do a quick song of the week then after the chat before. What are we going for?
Money, money, money.
Yeah, do that.
Okay. Listen to Money, Money, Money by ABBA and then come back to hear our riveting chat about Watford Southampton.
I might just go Letizia and just say, well, if someone says he played 400 games, I go like, well, did he really? That's what he wants you to think. How many years are we talking? Would like Southampton's of time back in the Premier League cover it? You know what I mean? If you knew someone who played for most of that time, would that cover it, you think?
I think I've got a Southampton player.
I've got one, but again, I've no idea if he's more. I've also just got like, I might just play Sean's tactics this week and go for like a legend, a cult hero.
That's what I'm thinking. And they're going to be they're going to be like Nuno Valenti numbers away. I might do a kamikaze mission just so I can say his name. And because it'll be topical.
So it is more fun playing it your way, Sean, just writing down good names in it. When you're not bothered about winning anymore.
Yeah,
I've got like five
boss.
already. I've got five already and like I couldn't care less.
That's what the podcast should be about, told you.
Yeah, you are right.
Stop taking it so serious and just have a laugh.
I've got 4 Southampton players written down. No idea about any of them, so I'm ready to go. Do you reckon any of ours match up?
I reckon probably 2 of them do.
Yeah.
I've got another one just came to me. It doesn't matter if we don't know the first name.
Nah, I got away with that before, didn't I?
Depends if you win or not.
I'm having that dilemma now because there's 2 with the same surname and I can't remember which one's which.
It was Matt Letizia, Bob.
Oh yeah, makes you think.
I'll go towards the end. I'll see what other people go for. Anyone want to jump in first?
So me kamikaze guesses, which I'm sure none of you have gone for. One of them's Richarlison, just because he played for Watford for a bit. Another, because it's topical, FA Cup. Another former Everton player, Dan Gosling, absolute legend / snake.
He played for Watford.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't even remember that.
after Bournemouth, but only for like a season, so he's obviously miles off. I'm going to go for a Southampton player, and I've got quite a few. I'm not sure who to go for. I'll say James Ward-Prowse. Could be way off.
Could
I
be.
feel like he should be
it'll
more.
I think it'll be more.
Yeah, he's been there for a
I think
while,
he's
hasn't
been
he?
there, like,
You never
didn't
know,
he
do
break
you?
through that young as well, didn't he?
Yeah, but you never know, do you? I think it's going to be up more, you would have thought, but might not be. I'll start going. Callum, do you want to go next?
Yeah, go on. I obviously did think of a couple of Watford players towards the end, but kind of settled on Southampton player. Someone I think's been there long enough, possibly had 2 spells. I might be wrong on that. Always seemed to score against Everton, and a player I would have loved Everton to have signed. Oh, Shane Long.
That might be the worst shout ever, Cal.
In terms of the guest for keeping up appearances.
No, why would you want Everton to sign Shane Long?
I just always thought at the time, just as
Scott-
a backup striker, I think it would have been a half decent signing on the cheap, and it would have stopped them scoring against us. Bob, have you seen some of the players you mentioned before who we've signed?
And Shane Long's probably worse than them.
Nah, Shane Long would have been a decent little backup striker. He was a good striker, Shane Long, in his day.
I sort of get
3 games when he played for Reading.
Right. He's an Everton type player in Bob.
He actually
Nah.
was. But I know what
level.
Callum's saying, just a runner.
Yeah.
But can you imagine?
Marcus Spent mold?
Can you imagine
Yeah.
the fume though if we'd actually bought him? Like it's all right saying it when there's no chance. Imagine if we'd actually bought him, Cal.
Nah, I think it would have been all right.
No.
That. I don't mean
Nah.
like back in the day. I mean like when we were, I think it would have been a decent little signing and better than Beto. Now.
Chance. Actually,
Right.
no, it would have been worth signing him because his name's S. Long and it said Slong when he came off the bench.
Yeah, in fact, don't sign
Always
him.
made me laugh.
Oh dear. Sean, do you want to go or shall I?
I'm not. I'm intrigued to see who you go because that might get rid of some of mine.
Can I list some of my names, or am I just want me to go and then I'll tell you once you've already gone?
You can list them if you want. I won't be adding. I've got mine written down.
Yeah, but you can still double up. So I was thinking, me 2, I think, sensible guesses are both from the same sort of years. We've already mentioned Ricky Lambert. They 2 to me that obviously
You
played.
went off, Tosh.
Sorry, me 2 guesses. I was thinking me sensible guesses were sort of, well, I think the sensible Ricky Lambert and Adam Lallana, who I think were there long enough from them being in League One-ish to coming up to the Premier League for a year or 2. But again, not actually sure like how long they both were there before that. So like, potentially they jumped up from League One and Championship in a successive year, I think. And then probably only both had a year in the Premier League before was signed. So might not be enough. I was then thinking of a couple of older ones and the old names I had. Sean, I wonder if these will tick off your list. Marian Pahars.
Yep.
Good name.
Klaus Lundekvam. And Francis Benali, Franny Benali.
Oh, we haven't got Benali. No, I've got 2 others from that
I'd say
team. though.
Benali was too many.
Do you think? See, I was...
Was he a one club man?
Yeah, that's what... But so, I suppose, yeah, maybe if he was. I don't actually know. Yeah, so thanks, Bob. I'll rule out Benali. Do you know what? I'll go for... Just to make you think, I'll go Ricky Lambert.
Right. So you ticked off most of mine. I had James Ward-Prowse. I had Marian Pahars. I had Lundekvam.
Just had a good thought. Carry on. Sorry.
Who was it, Bob?
James Beattie.
No,
I thought you were going to say him before, Bob.
He won't have played that
Course it-
many, really.
I reckon it'd be more.
I just wanted-
close in.
He was at Blackburn, though, wasn't he, for a while as well?
Oh, yeah. I bet it'd be...
I-
I reckon
I-
it probably is a good shout.
one of the best headbutts in Premier League history.
I also had, running down the Baldy theme, I went for Chris Marsden.
He was the one I said that I couldn't remember his first name. That
I
goal he
thought-
scores when he runs in a straight line.
I thought you were
Yeah.
going to say Richard Chaplow.
No, not quite. But the one I'm going to go for, which may, I don't know, I'm going to go for Jason Dodd.
Ooh.
So you know Ken.
Doddy. Sean's gone for Doddy.
Did he?
Did he?
I won't even check. I'll wait and see. I like the surprise.
what was it? Who was it, Sean?
Jason Dodd.
Ken Dodd.
Google Klaus Lundekvam. Sean, see how many he was on.
Go ahead.
Since none of us have got him.
Tosh, I've sent you the things already.
I know, yeah. I'm just waiting on you to do the last one. I've done the calculation as
Yeah,
well, so we're pretty
I'm
much
just,
ready
I'm
to
just,
go.
I'm just wondering if Doddy's got a transfer market.
I know Jason Dodd. I reckon it's probably not a bad shout. He'll have been there a while.
Yeah, he's a fullback, wasn't he?
Yeah. He was there a while.
he was there a hell of a long time.
900 maybe, Cal.
Yeah, I was going to say, I bet every game under Harry Redknapp he played.
Results are in, so not the greatest week, unsurprisingly, for the panel this week. None of us closer than 40 appearances. 2 of us 3 figures out. So,
Oh, get in. That'll be me.
so one of them rounds up to 200 out as well. So, in 4th position with 447 appearances, Ken's son, Jason Dodd.
Do you know what's
160
mad? Sorry, do you know what's mad here? I got laughed at and everyone said, who's he? He
I
played
didn't.
played nearly 500 games for them.
I remember Doddy. Yeah.
Did he?
161 out, Sean. So that might be a personal best. That.
I'll take it. It was worth it.
Do you reckon Lundekvam would have been less, wouldn't he?
Yeah,
but he was
I
there
checked him.
years.
He was less. He was 300 something.
Oh, still 300. Oh, might have won that actually. In 3rd position with 410 appearances, so 124 out, was James Ward-Prowse. So Bob was 3rd today. Unusually poor guess for Bob for that. Bob's usually close, isn't he?
Bottled it.
Come on, Bob. Pressure the leader. Pressure being top of the leaderboard. I know all about that. In 2nd position, the 2 first and second were reasonably close. So 10 appearances between them. In 2nd position with 235, so 51 appearances out, so still not particularly close, was Ricky Lambert. Although he'd doubt them statistics. He'd make if you just went on them to people, here's what you get from the government. That's what you do. You take it to 235. So
no, he'd say he made 287.
Yeah, well, I think so too. So that means Callum's this week's winner with Shane Long 245, only still 41 out.
Is
So
that the worst winner?
It probably is the worst winner, I would guess.
So I reckon he should get minus points for the worst winner.
It's losing most weeks, though.
It wouldn't. Might get 3rd.
But yeah, Callum wins a win.
It is. You'll take it, won't you?
You absolutely
Any
would.
means
Good guess.
necessary.
I feel like I should have gone for Klaus Lundekvam now, but apparently it would have been a bit closer. Would I have won with Klaus Lundekvam, Sean?
No, I don't think so.
I checked.
Okay.
BT was 232, I think.
I've just the others on my list were Stephen Davis and Jose Font.
Let me to check Jose Fons for you.
I
But
reckon Font was there for ages, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I reckon, but again, it would you? Yeah, maybe. What
Sorry,
about Lallana?
why
What was Franny Benali actually?
wow. Do you know what Jose Font was? 288.
Oh, for sake.
Oh, that is a blow, Bob.
Wow.
Remember though, a few weeks ago I had James Tompkins. He was bang on, and I didn't pick him, so not quite as good.
Fair enough. Yeah, I'm still waiting for the day you get someone bang on. You've had it before, haven't you?
Only the ones. 340 was Benali, so that was still way out.
You do know if we ever do Southampton again, we're just wasting all the guesses here.
Yeah, but we'll have forgotten by this time, won't we?
They're
Yeah.
also in the championship, so how often are we going to pick them?
We might do when we run for years.
This game's done. This game's done by May. You know that, Sean. Come on.
Davis was 226.
Come on, Tosh, I need some positivity here.
All I'm saying is we signed Cam permanently. We got to win. We got to hit.
Yeah, that's the best January transfer window signing.
And it's a good point. That actually should have said that. Imagine if we'd announced that, the fans would be loving it.
I'm not sure Cam would having to do this every week. In fact, is the league table updated? Can I do it now?
I refuse to update it anymore.
Ah, you're messing.
Don't strike.
I don't want to look at it anymore until you put on the thing that I've played one game less than
save it.
every-
I'll do it later.
Do it
Well-
like Everton in the Premier League table where it's got the asterisks next to it.
That's what should have. It's all I want. All I want's an asterisk.
Yeah.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah,
And
just
then
give me more work, Tosh.
Sean's
Nice one.
corrupt.
You need to start pulling your weight here, Sean.
And stop laughing through all your segments.
Yeah, that was a one-off today.
Stop calling
Apologies.
Boney. Stop calling Boney Sniffy.
What were you trying to say?
City, I'm guessing.
Oh,
You'll be saying Stiffy next.
I was meant to say City came sniffing.
Oh, that's okay.
Sniffing.
Quality. Put that on the Patreon. Outtakes.
Yeah, it takes will be longer than the episode this week.
Oh yeah.
You need to cut some of that early door, Sean.
Oh yeah. Don't worry.
Amateur hour that.
I'll make it look nice and sleek.
Don't cut Sniffy out though. Right then.
Let's move our attention over quickly to our updated league table. And Bob remains on top with 61 points. Tosh is in second on 57, but he's being closed down quickly by Callum on 56. Sean remains bottom of the league on 44.
So thanks for joining us on another episode of Keeping Up Appearances. It was not
Good
the
one.
best win by me in the end game, but we'll take it. We'll take the win by any means necessary. A great Any Given Saturday by Sean, which we smashed, to be fair. Some good answers. And a very very deep Maroon 5 this week with lots of talk. So yeah, head over to our X and make sure you vote on what you think has been the worst January transfer window signing. And we will see you next week. Thank you. Thanks, Sean. I will.
Get ready for your songs next week.
Oh, I can't wait for that, you know.
What is it next week?
Songs for the Grammys.
Oh,
Best
right, okay.
song.
Oh, we
Not
know what you're gonna
not
do.
like a chant. I reckon we say you can have
Okay.
like a club song or a song released by a player.
Yeah.
Okay.
Released by a player.
So I'm
Yeah.
not gonna spoil it on when because this will end up on the cut probably. So I'm not gonna spoil it.
Don't let Callum do that.
Do let Cam do that because he's got to sing a bit of it or rap a bit of it.
I'll mute him for the whole time then.
The last
you
season,
and
Lord of the
Sean
Mics.
could collab.
So are you going to be Hoddle and Waddle, Tosh? Both of them?
Could do. Or Gaza Fog on the Tide.
I was thinking of Gaza, but I've got mine anyway. I know what I'm doing.
I've got mine. I put mine in the chat. I'm doing it.
Yeah.
I need to shoot.
Right
sorry.
then, yeah. No more spoilers.
Yeah.
See you in a
See you
bit.
later.
See you later.
Ta-ra, bye.
Later, nice one.